Did you know that drastically undereating is probably the #1 reason that you will not lose that last 5 to 15 pounds of body fat? So if you are struggling with getting that last little bit off, then you're gonna wanna stick around for this training to make sure that you are not undereating and sabotaging your progress. Hey, sweet friends, my name's Lauren Valentino, and I help women with their nutrition and fitness so that they can crush it in bodies that they're madly in love with. Now, believe it or not, undereating is probably one of the #1 things that I troubleshoot when I work closely with women. So I've been doing this a long time, guys, well over 13 years. I'm also a competitive athlete. I know a little bit about undereating and overtraining, but it would blow your mind if you knew that eating more is the only thing standing in the way of you and reaching your goals. So if you're experiencing stalled progress and you know you're not shoving donuts in your mouth, okay? So everything seems pretty perfect, but it's not progressing. It's not adding up. You're working really hard. Then this is something that you definitely want to hone in on and just make sure that you're not undereating and stalling your own awesomeness. So as a coach and working many, many years with women, I have labeled and named a few undereating personality types. I myself am guilty. So I'm going to share these 4 with you guys and see if you can relate to any of these. And again, like I said, I'm guilty. I'm guilty of all of these at least once. So my very first one is what I like to call the Yoyo Joe. So the Yoyo Joe goes from way under eating and then overeating because they're starving. And then guilt reels them back to under eating. And then their body takes over and they way overeat. And it's a cycle that yo-yos back and forth like that. Is that you? The next one is the nocturnal nightmare or the werewolf. This one is the one that I personally am probably the most guilty of. So you follow everything pretty perfectly all day long, and then the sun goes down and it's like the freaks come out at night. You find yourself in the pantry eating to make up for maybe not enough fats or carbs through the day. Is that you? The next one I like to call the low down, slow down sloth. So you've been chronically under eating for so long that everything has slowed down. Your brain slowed down, your movements have slowed down, your sex drive has way slowed down, your thyroid has slowed down. Really, everything is on coast mode. Is that you? The next one I'm also pretty guilty of, and it's the Cerebral Beaver. So you wake up in the morning, your feet hit the floor, you have 1,000,001 things to do, and so you dive right in. You realize by about 3 p.m. that you've been living on coffee and you are way undernourished for the day. I am super guilty of that one. Do any of these sound familiar? So if any of these sound familiar, I want to share just a few symptoms that may go along with this. If you're checking the box on 3 or more of these symptoms, you definitely want to go to the next step here. So the first one is brain fog, poor concentration, low sex drive or no sex drive, difficulty sleeping or sleeping uninterrupted, waking up during the night, having a problem falling asleep, having a problem staying asleep. Any sleep disturbances that are common. Not being able to lose weight. Gaining weight for no reason that you can really figure out. Having a complete body composition shift that you can't relate to anything extra, any new found Oreo flavor. You're like, why has this happened? So that type of body composition change. Low energy, having a difficult time putting on muscle, having mood disturbances. So low mood or having some mood swings that you're aware of, but you can't really tie down to anything. If you've checked the box for 3 or more of these, then you're gonna wanna come on with me to the next step. So our next step is snooping on ourselves. So if we're gonna find out if we're overeating, we've gotta put our detective hat on and do a little snooping. So definitely the first thing you're going to want to do is download a food tracking app on your phone. I like to use Carb Manager. It's one that is used for keto diets, and you don't need to pay attention to any of that part. I like it because it's so easy to log your stuff. I don't love MyFitnessPal. I think it's a very difficult app to use. I am busy, so I need something really easy. Love Carb Manager. So check that one out. You're gonna wanna track everything that you feed yourself for 3 to 5 days. And then you're gonna wanna take an average, write that down on a piece of paper, and then you're gonna want to open up your laptop and type in TDEE Calculator. Now, this is probably as close as it gets to an automated system giving you a pretty accurate guess as to where you should be as far as your caloric intake. So type that in, make sure to look closely because it's gonna give you a few different numbers of information. It's gonna give you, based on your energy, your energy output, it's gonna give you what your baseline calories should be just to stay the same. It's gonna give you your basal metabolic rate. So if you did no workout that day, what your calories should be. It's gonna give you a few different numbers like that. So you're gonna wanna look at your total daily energy expenditure number. Now, here's the trick. You wanna make sure that the calories that you're eating are no more than 20% less that number, okay? So if you should be eating 2,000 calories a day, you wanna make sure you're never dipping below 1,600. Now, if that's true for you and you've been 1,600 or below for a long period of time, we need a little bit of rehab. So as a female, our bodies are set up to do 2 things and 2 things only, biologically speaking. So the first one is to keep you alive. That is what our body, our system does all day long. You don't have to think, oh, heart, I need you to beat. You don't have to think, oh, okay, I need my brain to function, or I need my hip to work. Your body works and it keeps you alive and it keeps you healthy. That's priority number 1. Priority number 2 is, as females, we're set up to reproduce and to sustain life on this planet. And so if we are chronically under eating and we're seeing irregular menstrual cycles, we're seeing all these mood changes and shifts, it is because our body has come in and said, wait a second, we need to hold on to this body fat. We need to make some changes here. We need to downregulate her thyroid. We've got to make sure that if she gets pregnant, we can handle this, okay? So our body actually works for us because our body doesn't walk around thinking, okay, we don't want our thighs to rub and we need our abs to show because it's warm outside, okay? So you have to work in congruency with your body if you're gonna get it to do what you want it to do. And in doing that, you have to feed it enough for all systems to function. Make sense? So if you have found that you are chronically under eating, I highly recommend that you reach out and work closely with a coach so that you can get your numbers back to where they should be. If that is not something that you're able to do right now, my suggestion is that you add 75 to 100 calories every 2 weeks. So start to slowly titrate it up. You can't just add back 600 to 700 calories because that will not be pretty. You won't feel good, and your body will hold it because your body thinks, wait a second, like we're like traveling through the desert. She's working out too much. She's under eating. We're in SOS mode. So when you start to refeed yourself, your body goes, hold that, we're gonna need it. Okay, makes sense? So you wanna slowly titrate it up until you get your body to where it should be. And then things will start to work in your favor, okay? So if you have any questions on that, drop them below. If you are curious, now here's the thing, we wanna make sure our macros are balanced. So it's not just about calories, it is definitely about getting the proper amount of fats, protein, and carbs. I hope you guys grabbed value this week. If you did, please let me know below. Like this video, share it, comment, do all the things that video people want you to do. I appreciate it, and I'll see you guys next week. Take care, be awesome.